Kevin, coming up also a lot of fun in the community as we also recognize the Michigan Jewish Family Festival coming back over the Memorial Day weekend, May 26th. It's going to be happening from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Plenty of fun activities, games, and even more happening at this event. And joining us to talk about it in even more detail is Rabbi Yishai Eliefja on today's edition of the Splash Live. Rabbi, thank you for being with us.
For inviting me.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this festival because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been looking through your website, seeing all the different activities and all the fun stuff that's going to happen. But let's go back to the start about putting this festival together. What inspired the creation of the Michigan Jewish Family Festival?
Yeah, so the festival is actually in honor of a particularly under-recognized Jewish holiday known as Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer stands for the 33rd day of the Omer, which is between the Jewish holidays of Passover and Shavuot. We're counting the days between, and the 33rd day is called Lag BaOmer. That's a very significant day in Judaism for two reasons. The first reason is because on that day, it celebrates the life of a great Jewish sage by the name of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a very, very prominent Talmudic sage, and he was well known not only for his legal and Talmudic wisdom, but also for authoring the Zohar, the text of the classic texts of Kabbalah, of Jewish mysticism. And he was one of the first people to really teach and bring out these mystical secrets of the Torah, where, the inner dimension, the spiritual that's behind everything that we do. And on this day, it was actually the day that he passed away. And on that day that he passed away, he instructed his disciples to mark this day as the day of my joy. As the Hasidic masters explain, that the day of a passing of a righteous person, that marks the point where their entire life's work, all their deeds, their teachings, their work comes to its perfection, and it's able to impact all of our lives. So the way we celebrate this is by marking this day in a very celebratory way, in a joyous way, and really identifying with who we are, with Jewish pride, with celebrations, with outings, with parades. And it really symbolizes the inner dimension of our soul, of who we really are as a people, who we are as a Jewish people, and our unity. The second event that Lag BaOmer commemorates is another event that took place in the Talmudic era. Between the two holidays, again, of Passover and Shavuot, there was a great plague and epidemic that broke out amongst the disciples of the great sage Rabbi Akiva, who was actually the teacher of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And the reason given for that is because the disciples did not act respectfully towards one another. They were expected to be held by a very high standard of respect towards one another. In fact, their teacher Rabbi Akiva was the one who one of his main teachings is that loving your fellow is one of the most greatest principles of the Torah. And his disciples didn't live up to that standard. So unfortunately, there was an epidemic and many of them passed away. But that plague ceased on the day of Lag BaOmer. So Lag BaOmer became a celebration, a day when we commemorate the disciples of Rabbi Akiva, and we work on having more love and more respect for one another, which this is the theme that Rabbi Akiva taught, this idea of Ahavat Yisrael. So because of these two reasons, Lag BaOmer is a very festive day, a very joyous day. In Israel, there's usually, unfortunately not this year, but usually there are about 500,000 people that visit Rabbi Shimon's resting place in the north of Israel in Meron. Unfortunately, this year, because of the danger with the terrorist organization Hezbollah, has been recently, shooting lots of missiles towards that mountain. The Israeli government didn't allow large gatherings like usual, but that actually brings out another reason why this year in particular it's even more important for us to continue the celebration and to celebrate with even more joy and to bring out the idea of Jewish unity. Because, when we're feeling a lot of hatred now in the world, there's a lot of anti-Semitism. It's coming out not only in Israel and around Israel, but, all over campuses in America. And there's a lot of people scared and not sure what to do. How do we deal with this? And our approach is that we have to come out to show our strength, show that we're united as one and we're proud to be Jewish. We're not going to back down. And that is for this reason, every year we have a celebration for Lag BaOmer. But because of what the current climate, we decided that this year we have to do it even a greater scale, much greater than ever before, to bring out this idea of Jewish unity, the whole community coming together in such a wonderful way, and to celebrate at large, to show that we're proud and we're united as one.
Joining us on the Splash Live is Rabbi Yishai Eliefja from Chabad Lubavitch of Michigan as they get ready for the Michigan Jewish Family Festival. That's happening on May 26th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Just behind the Franklin Community House on Carroll Avenue in Franklin. And you mentioned, Rabbi, the sense of unity and celebration. And you even mentioned some of the reasons why this year in particular that form of celebration may be even more important. So how does a festival like this, with all these different activities that you have on hand, how does that help to capture that moment of that sense of unity and celebration best, and why you ultimately have that be what's featured at the Jewish Family Festival?
Yeah, the terrorists, they have one goal in mind. They want to terrorize. They want to put fear in the hearts of everyone. And our response is that we're not going to back down. On the contrary, we're going to be stepping up stronger and more united. And this is the way to do it, by showing that we're happy, we're not going to be fearful, we're going to be joyous, we're going to have a big celebration, and we're going to come together as a community to celebrate our Jewish identity, our unity with entire people. I want to just point out this festival isn't only for Jewish people. Everyone's invited, the entire community is invited to come join us and celebrate. And we have a lot of fun things planned for all ages, from adults, for children, for teenagers. We have college kids coming from Lansing, from MSU, from U of M. And we're really coming together as a community to celebrate who we are. And it's going to be a wonderful celebration, God willing.
You can find more information on the Michigan Jewish Family Festival on their website, jewishfamilyfestival.com. Rabbi, you mentioned that there's going to be a number of these activities. We've talked about that already. We've teased it a little bit, but let's get into some of the details. People want to know what they're going to have fun out there doing.
For sure.
So
Yeah,
kick us through some of the fun stuff and activities that will be available.
Yeah, so first of all, we're having from 3 to 5 p.m. is where all activities are taking place. We're having a number of rides. There's a Pirates Revenge ride, and a Dixie Twister ride. It's like swings. We're having a laser tag. It's a huge inflatable laser tag that's going to be out there in the park, and it's going to be like indoors. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have this gigantic 105-foot obstacle course, a number of inflatable challenges, like a bungee run, where you're attached to a bungee cord and you have to compete against someone to get to the other end first. A wacky coliseum where you're jousting, to knock the other person down. Safe archery. Archery is actually traditionally associated with the Lag BaOmer. It's one of the traditions. So we're having it in a very safe way, where it's a big inflatable, and you are shooting a target with a very soft end at the end. I'm having a giant slide, pony rides, horse rides, petting zoo, a lot of different bounce houses. We're having some face painting and balloon twisting going on. A touch-a-truck for the toddlers. I have a lot of things for youngsters as well. For toddlers, touch-a-truck. And some of the inflatables are for younger children. We also have this beautiful little reenactment of the cave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, where he actually had to escape from the Romans for a number of years. So we're reenacting that, and the children were able to go inside this cave. One of the most meaningful parts of this celebration, actually, is the Franklin Art Institute, art studio, together with Chabad of Bingham Farms. They organized a beautiful brick house that was created by students in all the different schools, in Hillel Day School, in Farber Hebrew Academy, in Franklin Jewish Academy, and Lubavitch Cheder and other schools, where children have been decorating these cardboard box bricks that are being put together as a beautiful, gigantic, 7-foot tall brick house that's going to be on display. and the children will be able to come inside and do a mitzvah. And this house represents our prayers for the safety return of the hostages and the soldiers that are in Israel to be able to come home, symbolizing this brick home that we're making together. So it's a beautiful way to have that on display, a message of prayer and coming together to do a mitzvah for the hostages and the soldiers. There's clowns. We have one of my favorites is a foam pit. We have this gigantic foam machine that spreads foam all over. The kids love running through the foam. And that's all from 3 to 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., we're going to have a special prayer for a community prayer with a number of community leaders that are going to be leading us in a prayer for the safety of in Israel and around the world. Followed by the great marshmallow drop. And a shout out to DTE for coming with their gigantic lifts. They're going to be throwing down thousands of marshmallows, which will then be able to have a chance to roast them over a bonfire, which bonfire, by the way, is also one of the traditional activities associated with Lag BaOmer that we do. And then one of the climax is the BMX stunt show. So that's going to be very, very exciting. All by the Franklin Community House. You can find out more information on the website. And we're really excited. There's a lot. I also forgot I got to mention we have Chef Carrie's Kosher Catering. We're going to coming out with a whole assortment, a menu of different barbecue. It's Memorial Day weekend, so we got to have a barbecue, right? What's Memorial Day weekend without a barbecue? So we're having a barbecue. We have hot dogs, hamburgers, pulled beef, chicken poppers, and more. So you can actually, this afternoon, we're going to be closing the pre-registration. If you want to go online today, you can get discounted prices for both the wristbands and the food orders. And otherwise, you can just show up on Sunday and you'll be able to order your food from Chef Carrie. Delicious food, I might add. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
More information, including how you can RSVP, can be found as we speak on jewishfamilyfestival.com. Rabbi, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting.